Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradari, Jaya Girivaradari, Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradari, Jaya Girivaradari, Jaya Yashodanandana, Jaya Braja Janaranjana, Jaya Braja Janaranjana, Jaya Jaya Yamuna Tiravana Chari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Yamuna Tiravana Chari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Yamuna Tiravana Chari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Radha Madhava ki, Shri Radha Govinda ki, Shri Radha Gopinath ki, Advaita Charya Mahamotsav ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Nityananda, Advaita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Naruttamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. So we are reading from Srimad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 28, Text 41. Bhutendriyanta Karanat Bhutendriyanta Karanat Pradhanach Jiva Samgitat Pradhanach Jiva Samgitat Atma Tata Pritak Drashta Atma Tata Pritak Drashta Bhagavan Brahma Samgitaha Bhagavan Brahma Samgitaha Bhutendriyantakaranat Pradhanat Jiva Samgitat Atmatatta Pritak Drashta Bhagavan Brahma Samgitaha Bhutendriyanta Karanat Pradhanat Jiva Samgitat Atmatatta Pritak Drashta Bhagavan Brahma Samgitaha. Indriyatha Karana Pradhana Jiva Samgitat Atmatata Pritak Drashta Bhutendriyanta karanat pradana jiva samgitat atma tata pritak drashta Bhagavan Brahma Samgitaha. Matajis. Putendriyanta Karana Atmatata Pritagdrashta Bhagavan Brahma Samgita Putendriyanta Karana Pradana Jiva Samgitat Atmatata Pritagdrashta Bhagavan Brahma Samgitaha. Bhuta, the five elements. Indriya, the senses. Antakaranat, from the mind. Pradhanat, from the pradhana. Jiva samgitat, from the jiva soul. Atma, the paramatma. Tata, soul. Pritak, different. Drashta, the seer. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Brahma Samgitaha, code Brahman. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Param Brahma, is the seer. He is different from the Jiva soul, or individual living entity, who is combined with the senses, the five elements, and consciousness. Purport. A clear conception of the complete whole is given herewith. The living entity is different from the material elements, and the supreme living entity, the personality of Godhead, who is the creator of the material elements, is also different from the individual living entity. This philosophy is propounded by Lord Chaitanya as Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Everything is simultaneously one with and different from everything else. The cosmic manifestation created by the Supreme Lord, by His material energy, is also simultaneously different and non-different from Him. The material energy is non-different from the Supreme Lord, but at the same time, because that energy is acting in different way, it is different from Him. Similarly, the individual living entity is one with and different from the Supreme Lord. This simultaneous one and different philosophy is the perfect conclusion of the Bhagavata school as confirmed here by Kapila Dev. Living entities are compared to sparks of a fire. As stated in the previous verse, fire, flame, smoke, and firewood are combined together. Here the living entity, the material elements, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are combined together. The exact position of the living entities is just like that of the sparks of a fire. They are part and parcel. The material energy is compared to the smoke. The fire is also part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. In the Vishnu Purana, it is said that whatever we can see or experience either in the material or spiritual world is an expansion of the different energies of the Supreme Lord. As fire distributes its light and heat from one place, the Supreme Personality of Godhead distributes His different energies all over His creation. The four principles of the Vaishnava philosophical doctrine are Shuddha Advaita, purified oneness, Dvaita Advaita, simultaneous oneness and difference, Vishishta Dvaita, and Dvaita. All four principles of Vaishnava philosophy are based on the thesis of Srimad Bhāgavatam explained in these two verses. One more time the verse. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Param Brahma, is the seer. He is different from the Jiva soul or individual living entity, who is combined with the senses, the five elements, and the consciousness. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gnanachana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Kurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Giradhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Our philosophy can be summarized in three main principles, and actually any other philosophy can be summarized in the same three principles. One should know the basic philosophical ideas. One should know what is the goal of this philosophy, and one should know what is the process to achieve this goal. And generally we know in Sanskrit these terms are known as Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. Yes. Sambandha Gyan is very, very important. We may practice Krishna Bhakti, but if we are not doing it with proper understanding, with proper knowledge, we won't be able to achieve our goal. It's very simple. Like, for example, if someone is pretending to be a doctor and wants to make an operation and achieve the goal of curing the person, but if he doesn't have proper knowledge what is he doing, then the result will be most probably different from the expected one. So in the same way, we may live as a devotees and we may practice, but we should have proper understanding what are we doing. Otherwise the result may be different, even opposite to what we are expecting. One time in one class, one spiritual master said that we may chant the whole life the Maha Mantra, or something that we think is the Maha Mantra, and then at the end of the life we may wait for who to appear? For Krishna. Huh? Yes. We may think Krishna will appear, the Supreme Lord, and suddenly in front of us comes two horrible creatures. And we are like shocked. What is this? Like, who are you? What are you doing here? And they are saying, well, a whole life you were calling us so sincerely. Now is the time to come and take you with us. Why? Because the devotee was thinking he's chanting Hare Krishna, but maybe he was thinking, chanting something else. What he was chanting? Snik Snike Nama, or Shna Shna. Yes. So it's very important to have proper understanding why we are practicing Krishna consciousness. In other words, who are we? Who is Krishna? What is material energy? To have proper understanding. Then when we are chanting Hare Krishna with this proper understanding, this chanting will give great result, great boon. And just with few sentences, it's not so difficult. Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and nobody is equal to him, and nobody is greater than him. And we, the living entities, we are parts of Krishna, but we are not equal to Krishna. We are just small parts from him. Mama Ivamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. And our constitutional position is to serve with love and devotion, to render devotional service to Krishna. And we are simultaneously one with Krishna and different. When it comes to quality, we have the same qualities that Krishna has, but we don't have them in the same quantity. So Krishna is Supreme Spirit, Para-Brahman, and we are very small Brahman, insignificant servants of Krishna. And material nature is something different from us. We are not matter. Like some philosophical doctrines, they are saying, if you ask them, so who are we, the living entities, they will say, tell you, well, we are at the same time spirit and matter. So, are we the soul or we are the body? Well, we are both at the same time. We are both at the same time. Our philosophical conclusion is not that. We don't have anything to do with matter. We are spiritual beings, spiritual living entities. So matter is something different. It's something foreign to the soul. But because of the false ego, we identify with matter and we start thinking, oh, actually I'm this matter, but we are not. So we are something different from the matter. We are conscious, matter is unconscious. That's a huge difference between the living entities and the matter. And unless the living entities enter into the matter will stay unconscious, that. And then what is the connection between matter and the Supreme Lord? Again, they are simultaneously one and different. Why one? Because Krishna is not just Krishna, he is his energies and the living entities. All this is part of Krishna. But when we speak about the external energy, it is called separate energy from the Lord. What is the Sanskrit word? Panditas? Sanskrit? Tataste is the living entities. Bina Prakriti, correct, okay. Still the old guys are clever than you. Bina Prakriti means separate energy. It is energy of the Lord, but it's separate and it's acting in a separate way. So that's why it can be said that it's at the same time one with Krishna, but at the same time different, because it's situated in a different way. So if we have this proper philosophical understanding and we practice the process with this understanding, then this process will give very fast results. We will achieve the real goal. And which is the real goal? What is the real goal? Krishna Prema. Yes, to be situated in our original position of servant of Krishna. Otherwise, there are stories described in the scriptures where externally someone looks like a devotee and he's living with the devotees and he's practicing Krishna consciousness in a very enthusiastic manner. But then, when another devotee went and asked him, so what is your goal? And suddenly he says, so what is my goal? My goal is to become God, to become Krishna. So why is that? Because there is no proper understanding why he is following the process and what is the goal. So this is very, very important. And if we are following properly, then we will achieve proper result. If we are not following properly, we may not achieve proper result. Of course, at the end of the day, we depend on the mercy of the Lord, but still, we should do our duty in a proper way, and then it will work out. I would like to read a little bit and comment on the appearance day of Advaita Acharya. So we are going to read a few verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 6, the glories of Sri Advaita Acharya. Vande tam Srimad Advaita acharyam adbhuta cheshtitam yasya prasadat ajopi tat svarupam nirupayet. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Advaita Acharya, whose activities are all wonderful. 161 CC Chaitanya Charitamrita. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Advaita Acharya, whose activities are all wonderful. By his mercy, even a foolish person can describe his characteristics. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Panchashlokye Kaila Shri Nityananda Tattva Shloka Dvaite Kahi Advaita Acharyera Mahatva. In 5 verses I have described the principle of Lord Nityananda. Then, in the following 2 verses, I describe the glories of Sri Advaita Acharya. Mahavishnur Jagat Karta Mayaya Ya Srijatya Daha Tasyavatara Evayam Advaita Acharya Ishvaraha. Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through actions of Maya. Advaitam Harinadvaitat Acharyam Bhakti Samgyatat Bhakta Avataram Isham Tam Advaita Acharyam Ashraye. Because he is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. And because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. He is the Lord and the incarnation of Lord's devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. Advaita Acharya Gosani Sakshat Ishvara Yanhara Mahimanahe Jiver Gochara. Sri Advaita Acharya is indeed directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. His glory is beyond conception of ordinary living beings. So we are learning here that Advaita Acharya, he is non-different from the Supreme Lord. He is non-different from Mahavishnu, and that's why he is known as Advaita. Dvaita means two, Advaita means one, non-different. And he's known as Acharya because he is propagating devotional service in amazing matter. So Advaita Acharya is like a very intimate part of Mahavishnu. When the universes have to be created, we know that Mahavishnu is glancing at material nature, and in this way the whole creation starts. All the living entity enters into the material nature, full with their desires, and gradually by the mercy of the Lord they are getting the opportunity to start being active and to fulfill their material desires. So Advaita Acharya is the personality who is giving this opportunity, giving opportunity for the living entities to fulfill their material desires. That's why it is said he is non-different from Hari, non-different from Narayan or from Mahavishnu. He's so powerful, so mighty, that he had the the power to call the Supreme Lord to appear in this material world. It's very funny. The Supreme Lord is calling for the Supreme Lord. That's the interesting thing in our philosophy. You have so many amazing events like this one, or like in the Govardhan pastime. You have the Supreme Lord who is amazed that the Supreme Lord is eating in the form of Govardhan hill. Or Balaram, the Supreme Lord who is always in the mood of service to the Supreme Lord. Or many times these things can be seen in the pastimes of the Lord. That's why they are known as achintya, inconceivable. It's amazing. The Supreme Lord is praying for the Supreme Lord to appear. But actually this is the reason why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. This morning we heard Ram Roy Prabhu was reading how Advaita Acharya is known as Acharya because he was very, very merciful, very compassionate to the fallen conditioned souls, and he wanted to save them, to help them. And Srila Prabhupada was saying, Acharya means someone who does not want to exploit the living entities. No, he wants to help them. He wants to free them from sufferings, from the problems, from the miseries of material existence. And Advaita Acharya, seeing the situation, he thought what can be done, and with his Bhakti Shakti, he arranged for the appearance of the Supreme Lord in this material world. How was that? Advaita Acharya wrote in one place in the Shastras that if someone is simply worshipping the Supreme Lord with two substances, the Supreme Lord becomes Hare Krishna. The Supreme Lord, he has to appear. He becomes dependent. He cannot say no. So these two substances were Tulsi, leaves from Tulsi, Tulsi manjaris, and what was the second one? Yes, water from Ganges. So these two substances, they are very, very powerful. In fact, these are like different shortcuts in spiritual life. If you want to make very fast progress, these are shortcuts. They'll save time in spiritual life. Taking bath in Ganges regularly, or offering tulasis in the lotus feet of Krishna, or following seriously Ekadashi. These are shortcuts in spiritual life. So like that, Advaita Acharya sat down on the shore of Ganges and started worshipping Krishna. And Krishna appeared. That was in Shantipur, the place where at that time Advaita Acharya was residing. Later, when Mahaprabhu, one time, he went to Advaita Acharya's place and he said, Acharya, Acharya, because of you I came here. Because of you, just because you wanted me to appear, that's why I came here. So this is the power of the love of Advaita Acharya. He could attract Krishna to appear personally. In the beginning of his life, Advaita Acharya was living in Shantipur. This is a place which is maybe around half an hour from Navadvip. And is very, very dear place to us. Why? Because Srila Prabhupada was going to this place before leaving for the West and praying there, praying for a long time. He knew that this place is very, very special. The way how Advaita Acharya attracted Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his mercy on this spot, Srila Prabhupada wanted to attract also the mercy to appear in the Western countries. So he went there and he was praying there for a long time. And later Advaita Acharya moved and once Lord Chaitanya appeared, he wanted to live very close to Lord Chaitanya. So he went and he was living in Navadvip itself. And his place where he was living is known as Advaita Bhavan. And it's situated just maybe like 200-300 meters from Yogapit, from the house where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So Advaita Acharya, he was very conscious what's going on about pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was always taking part in them. He showed his power to attract Krishna in other situations also. If you remember, in Srimad Bhāgavatam, there is interesting story described. That was already at the time when Yudhishthira Maharaj was the emperor, and he and the Pandavas were ruling, and a Brahmana came and complained. He said, "Who is ruling this country? He must be very sinful personality, or at least he is allowing sins to happen in his kingdom." And everybody was shocked, like, how is that? What's happening here? Why this Brahmana is so unhappy? And he said, "My children are dying, disappearing. That means the ruler of this place is not proper ruler if such things are happening in his kingdom." And everybody was very shocked. And Arjuna immediately gave a vow. "I give a vow. I will take care for this situation. I will make you happy, dear Brahmana. Please show me where is the problem." And this Brahmana explained, "Every time when my wife gives a birth to a baby, the baby suddenly disappears, nowhere to be found." And Arjuna said, "Okay, I'll come now when the time for your next baby is to appear, and then I'll take care of the situation." And then Arjuna went there, and with his special Daivi weapons, he put special mantras in the whole room, so that any creature cannot enter. Like, even if some subtle creature tries to enter, it will become like ashes. And they were waiting there, and the child was born, and suddenly disappeared. And Arjuna was like shocked. How is that? Like, who is so powerful that can do these things, despite all these special demigod weapons here? And then Arjuna, being very morose that he couldn't fulfill his promise, he said, "Okay, that's it. I'm a Kshatriya, I'm entering into the fire." And the last moment, Krishna appeared and said, "Hey, Arjuna, what's happening here?" And he said, "Yeah, I promised to this Brahmana that I will save his kids who are mysteriously disappearing, and I couldn't do it. So now I have to just burn myself." And then Krishna said, "Okay, just relax a little bit, give me a chance. Let's just go for a walk and see, maybe we can find these kids." And then they started traveling, and they were going all over the universe, and they could not find them. And then Krishna thought for a while, and he said, "Okay, I know where is the problem." And they started traveling, they pierced the different layers of the universe, and they went above them. They reached the Karna ocean, and they went to the abode of Mahavishnu. And when they went there, the kids were there. And actually Acharyas are explaining that Mahavishnu, he was very, very eager to see these two great personalities, Krishna and Arjuna, which are not other but Nara Narayana Rishi. He wanted to take their darshan. And that's why he made this arrangement. So Mahavishnu is calling for Krishna to take his darshan, and Advaita Acharya is calling for Mahaprabhu to take his darshan and take part in his pastime. So again, Advaita Acharya is showing this amazing mercy, the greatness of his bhakti shakti to attract Krishna. Now, although he was so powerful, he did not want to play the Supreme Lord. Rather, he always wanted to be servant of Krishna, servant of Mahaprabhu. That was very difficult because Advaita Acharya is disciple of which great personality? Who is the spiritual master of Advaita Acharya? Madhavendra Puri, correct. Very nice. And who is the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya? Ishvara Puri. And what is the connection between Ishvara Puri and Madhavendra Puri? Okay, Madhavendra Puri is the guru of Ishvara Puri as well. So this makes Advaita Acharya and Ishvara Puri God brothers. And Lord Chaitanya, he was always feeling very subordinate, like in a mood of awe and reverence and service to Advaita Acharya, who was on the level of his spiritual master. Now Advaita Acharya didn't like this because he wants to serve Lord Chaitanya. He knows he's the Supreme Lord and he wants to be in a mood of service, but Lord Chaitanya doesn't want to accept this, having in mind the position, the great position of Advaita Acharya. So there were very interesting relationships between Advaita Acharya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. However, Advaita Acharya, he was always immersed into the mood of being a servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was going to different places and very, with his strong voice, he was just saying, "I'm the servant of Lord Chaitanya. I'm the servant of Lord Chaitanya." And he was becoming so ecstatic, getting entering into this mood of being the servant of the Lord. And then it is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, later in this chapter, that actually this is the fundamental mood of experiencing the spiritual ecstasy. Like if a devotee is not able to enter into this mood of being servant of the Lord, he will never be able to experience the spiritual ecstasy. And we see all great personalities, they were immersing themselves in this transcendental spiritual mood of servants of the Lord. All the great personalities, Advaita Acharya, Lord Nityananda, the gopis, even Srimati Radharani herself, all of them in different verses, they are again and again stating that we are just the main servants of Krishna. We are just the servants of Krishna. So this is like we could say the door for a devotee becoming ecstatic in spiritual life. We have to change our identity. For now, our identity is like we are devotees. Are we devotees? Okay. I mean, externally we are devotees, yes? That's why we are trying to put the proper uniform, like Vaishnava clothes, and we are putting tilak, we have the right haircut, like everything is pushing us in this direction. But what about our identity? What is our identity? Do we consider ourselves devotees? What do you think? Yes? No? Maybe not. Okay. Bhaktarayan is using his intelligence, transcendental intelligence. Yes, I mean we want to be devotees, and we may say that yes, I'm a devotee, but do we still try to control the situation in our life? Do we? Like, Prabhu, don't do this in this way. I'm telling you, you're going to have a problem. If you don't listen to me, you're going to have a serious problem, okay? Still, we cannot let it go. Still, we are in this situation of controlling. And do we try to enjoy? Yes or no? Little bit. Little bit we try to enjoy. Well, guess what? If we try to control and we try to enjoy, that means we think we are Krishna. Yes, we are God. So this shows that maybe theoretically we accept our position of servants of Krishna, but practically still we cannot completely let go this idea of being the controller and being the enjoyer. Or in other words, still we are competing with Krishna. So still we cannot completely act under our pure spiritual ego. Rather, very often we are acting under our false ego, false identity. Now, if we manage to get rid ourselves of this false idea that we are the controllers and we are the enjoyers, then we'll be able to situate ourselves in this concept that I am a servant of Lord Chaitanya. I'm servant of Krishna. And then the service that we are doing will start giving us unlimited happiness, unlimited joy. That's why all these great personalities, such advanced personalities, all of them, nobody wants to be the master. Nobody wants to be Ishvara. Advaita Acharya is Ishvara, but he is not saying, I'm Ishvara. No, he's actually saying, I'm a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Because he takes more pleasure being in the mood of servant than being in the mood of master. Why did Lord Chaitanya appear as a devotee? What is one of the main reasons? Yes, he wanted to taste the bliss of Srimati Radharani. Because Krishna, as the Supreme Lord, who is Atma Rama and who is always in ecstasy, who is always enjoying, suddenly saw, wait a minute, my devotee, he is getting more happiness by being in the position of servant than what I'm getting in the position of the Supreme Lord, Supreme Enjoyer. How is that? Wait a minute, I want to experience this. And the Supreme Lord himself comes to become a servant of God. Lord Chaitanya. And Advaita Acharya, he is following the same mood. He wants to be servant and he is getting unlimited happiness from this. Now, practical question is how to become situated on this spiritual platform. To be always conscious that, wait a minute, I am a servant of the Lord. I am not the master, I am not the controller, I am not the enjoyer. In one class, Jan Nivas Prabhu, his great Jan Nivas Prabhu, disciple of Srila Prabhupada. I guess many of you know him because he visited us here already a few times. He was explaining how our goal, according to our Siddhanta, according to our philosophy, is to achieve Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world, opportunity to serve them. But this is not easy. This is very, very high. It's very, very high level, high position to be able to directly serve Radha Krishna. It is explained in Nectar of Devotion that in order one to practice Raganuga Bhakti or spontaneous service to Radha and Krishna, one should become free from anarthas. This is the qualification. Unless our heart is freed from anarthas, and we are very steadily situated on the platform of devotional service, we cannot achieve the service of Radha and Krishna. So that's why, because we are not on this platform, we need the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Without the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we cannot achieve the mercy of Radha and Krishna. But Lord Chaitanya also, if we read, Of course, we know Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. He is the most merciful incarnation. Why? Because he is giving freely love of God. The most precious things, he is giving it to anybody and everybody. But still, even to approach Lord Chaitanya, you need certain qualification. You need some purity. We see Lord Chaitanya on the pages of Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was preaching to a very high-class people like Prakashananda Saraswati or Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Like these were very outstanding scholars and pure personalities.
Since we understand, how do you reconcile that to the fact that we keep calling it causeless mercy? So there's a cause to it. There's a qualification that's necessary.
Okay.
It's not
Why?
causeless after all.
Okay. Why we are saying that the mercy is causeless if always there is some cause? Okay.
There's always a cause.
I'll just park the question and I'll come back to it 5 minutes later. Okay. So just to finish my line of thought that so Lord Chaitanya is there and his unlimited mercy is there, but sometimes we see many of us, we are falling short even to this mercy. Why? Because of our degraded origin. Like we are so attracted to sinful activities, we have so many sinful desires, our lifestyle isn't pure, and it's not easy to get even this mercy. Then what is our saving grace? Well, our only saving grace is Nityananda Prabhu, Nityananda Ram Ki Jai. This is our saving grace. Why? Because Lord Nityananda, he doesn't do any discrimination. Like he goes into the bars to preach, and he's the most merciful, like Jagai and Madai, the savior of Jagai and Madai. We are the modern Jagais and Madais. So this is our saving grace. By the mercy of Lord Nityananda, one can become free from material desires. Then we can approach Lord Chaitanya. When our heart is freed from material desires, then we can approach Lord Chaitanya. So that's why we need the mercy of Lord Nityananda. But Lord Nityananda, he wants to see that we are doing service. He just wants to see that we are doing service. But then, because of our false ego, we don't want to do service. We even don't want to do service. We want to enjoy life. Ishvaro aham bogi, sidoham balavan sukhi. I'll enjoy. And now here comes the special place of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya, being non-different from Mahavishnu or from Sankarshan, he is taking care for the false ego. So by the mercy of Advaita Acharya, we can get rid of our false ego, of enjoyers and controllers. And then we will be able to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda, to get freed from our material desires, and then we can approach Lord Chaitanya. And then we can enter the spiritual world and serve Radha Krishna. This is how the things are working. So that's why today's day is very, very special. We can pray for the special mercy of Advaita Acharya. And if he is merciful to us, then spiritual life will become very, very easy. If we are freed from our false ego, we will be able to enter into this identity of being a servant of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. And if we manage to get this spiritual identity of being a servant, we will be able to relish the taste of Krishna consciousness, of devotional service. And if we relish the taste, then it will be very easy. Everything becomes very, very easy. That's why let's take this opportunity to pray for the mercy of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya ki Jai. Appearance day of Advaita Acharya ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. So now back to the topic of the causeless mercy. Causeless, I mean, always the mercy has a cause, of course. Everything has a cause. But why it is said that the mercy is causeless? Well, one reason is because the cause of this mercy beyond anything material. Nothing material is the cause for us getting this mercy. Neither that we did something or we think about something. Nothing in the material world created this mercy. The source of this mercy is beyond this material. That's why acharyas are using the term causeless. There is no any cause in this material world that is the cause for the spiritual mercy that we are getting. Is that okay? Transcendental, yes. Pandava wants to say.
Another aspect is that we cannot do anything by our own endeavor.
Okay. So Pandava Prabhu is saying we cannot do anything to deserve to get this mercy. It's not that, okay, if I do that much amount of devotional service, then I deserve to get this mercy. No, it doesn't matter how much we will do, still what we are getting is beyond expectation. So from this perspective also it's causeless. We don't deserve actually to get it with what we are giving. Okay?
So then why do we do devotional service? There's no cause to do it.
To attract the causeless mercy of Krishna. Narada Muni wants to say something. Yeah. Okay. Do you know what he meant by the two fingers? Do you know? Well, it's this pastime of Damodara Liwa, when Mother Yashoda was trying to bind Krishna with ropes, and it is said that always two fingers were not enough, and then acharyas are explaining these two signify two things that we need in order to become spiritually perfect. One is our endeavors, that's the one finger, and the second is the mercy of the Lord. If we just put endeavors, it won't be enough. So we need both, the endeavor and the mercy. Mataji? Okay.
It can't be caused, it just always is.
Oh, okay. Also very nice explanation. Thank you.
It's like that Tesla energy thing. It's always there. You just need to receive it. You need to be on.
Yes, it's always there. The question is, are we going to take advantage of it?
You said that no matter what we do, we can't deserve that mercy. Then, what about that verse from Brahma's pastimes, when his prayers, when he says, "Patem compounds Krishna," and the end of this verse is that whoever offering all the respects and all this thing, that it has become his rightful claim. How can we understand that? Basically, we can't ask Lord with mercy.
Okay, the question is, we have this famous verse from 10th canto of Bhāgavatam where Lord Brahma is saying if someone is waiting for the Lord's mercy while he's going through the reactions of his past deeds, and at the same time with his mind, words and body continues to offer respects to Krishna and serve Krishna, he's going back to the spiritual world, becomes his rightful claim. Yes, it is so, because the devotional service is even more powerful than Krishna and can control Krishna. But still, from like tattva point of view, from philosophical point of view, Krishna is always independent. And we see this proof in the rasa dance, where he, of course, in order to reciprocate with his elevated devotees, he left them for a while. So Krishna still he has independence, but he's doing it just to increase the relationship with his devotees. So he won't misuse it. But devotional service has the power to control Krishna. Devotional service has the power to attract the mercy of Krishna. And in one other verse, Gyaneya prayasya udapasya namanteva jivanti satmukaritam bhavadiya varta stane stita shutigatam tanuvan manobir ye prayaso jita jito api asita istrilokyam. In this verse it is said that devotee, just by regularly hearing about the Lord, becomes so powerful that he is able to conquer the unconquerable. Jita Ajita. Krishna is Ajita. Nobody can conquer Krishna. He is the supreme. But just by doing devotional service, a devotee conquers the Lord. So it's, again, what we are discussing in the beginning of the class, this Achintya philosophy. You have someone who is unconquerable, but he can be conquered. And you have someone that you can conquer by devotional service, but still he can be unconquered. So it's like, wait a minute. It's a great mystery, bhakti, devotional service. But just for our, what did they say? For your comfort and safety, just know that if you're doing devotional service, you can conquer the mercy of the Lord. The Lord is conquered by devotional service. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Yeah, so I have a question also commentary on that verse. It actually says we're eligible for liberation, and I also see that our scriptures say that liberation is like kind of like poo-poo to us. So I was thinking about something interesting, like, it seems like Krishna likes to serve because it's fun for him. He likes to serve people who love him. So it's almost like he doesn't have to, but he enjoys it. And since we know he enjoys it, we have this secret sauce, Like sometimes I walk by the kitchen, I smell some stuff, and it's like, I have to stop. Because it's like, man, I love food specifically. So it's almost like if you know what someone likes, you can get them to bend to your will just because you know they love that thing. So I almost think of it like, okay, the Acharyas figured it out and they gave it to us. So now we have the secret sauce to what God loves. And since he likes it, if we bring it to him in a nice arrangement, how can he resist? It's like kind of like, he doesn't have to. It's like we don't really control him, but we know he likes it so much that we just present it in a really creative way, and he'll come maybe if he wants. But the thing I was thinking about then is, right, so service attracts the Lord, but we're not attracted to being servants. Like, Advaita Acharya Prabhu, he was so much in the mood of service that it attracted the Lord to come down. So how can we become attracted to the idea of being servants so that we can actually do such nice service naturally that it also attracts the Lord to potentially come down?
We can achieve this only by the mercy of Advaita Acharya. Being sincere, yes. Sincerity should be always there. Like Vaishnava means Sharalata, honest, sincere. But a Vaishnava who is very sincere and he is giving the best from himself, at some point he will come to the understanding idea that I cannot do it on my own. I don't have this purity. I'm not pure enough to attract the mercy of Krishna. It's not possible. I need someone. I need some help. And then it comes the help of Advaita Acharya Nityananda Prabhu. And of course they are representatives. Like we were speaking the other day that we may think that we are pure, but actually we are not pure. The intensity of our purity is not enough to attract the mercy of Krishna. But if we are serving someone who is very pure, bhakta bhakta jana priyaha, if we become very dear to someone who is very dear, then we have a chance. We'll be part. Kadamba Kanana Maharaj is telling a story. I really enjoy and like this story, and I like to tell it also. He's telling the story how a devotee, after like performing serious devotional service whole life, then at the end of his life, he leaves the body and he goes to the upper planetary systems, and there is a big, how you call it, like a commission, like many exalted personalities, and they just look through his case and they are seeing, oh, you couldn't really do it this time, huh? You did good, but I mean, here there are some strange things you did also. So I don't know, maybe one more lifetime, huh? I think one more lifetime. And then someone at the end, he's saying, hey, wait a minute, he's from the people of Prabhupada. He's a Prabhupada man. And then everybody just turning. Okay, go, come on. So this is our qualification. Our qualification is not our personal purity. Our qualification is that we are trying sincerely to satisfy someone who is very, very pure. And this is our chance. Yes.
Our ego tendency gets in the way, and Advaita Acharya is somebody who can help us fix our ego and be properly situated so we can serve Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. That's very beautifully put. I'm not sure where you got that from. That's the first time I'm hearing that.
I mentioned, I heard this from a class of Jananivas Prabhu in Mayapur. I think, if I'm correct, it was again Advaita Acharya's Prabhu's appearance there, and he was explaining this, that we want to achieve Radha Krishna, but we cannot achieve them directly. We have to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. But even this one is a little bit difficult to get directly, so we need the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu to get rid of material desires. But to be able to do that, we have to serve. But even this is a problem, because our false ego stays on the way. And in order to be able to do that, we need the mercy of Advaita Acharya. He was explaining this.
Thank you. And a question I had was, you mentioned that Advaita Acharya always wanted to be situated as a servant of Lord Chaitanya, but there was always this struggle because Lord Chaitanya won't like him to be a servant, and you shared how there are different spiritual masters. So I was wondering, is there a pastime where where Advaita Acharya is able to become servant of Lord Chaitanya?
Yes, there is a pastime. The famous pastime where Advaita Acharya figure out a special plan. And what was the plan? He decided to preach Mayavada philosophy. And then when Lord Chaitanya heard, he was so upset. He just went and he started beating Advaita Acharya. And then Advaita Acharya became even more ecstatic. And he said, now I achieve my goal. Now you have accepted me as your servant. And then when Lord Chaitanya heard this, he figured it out actually. Oh, he cheated me. So it is said, he became a little bit shameful, the way how he acted. So yes, Advaita Acharya, he has his ways to achieve his goals. Attract the Lord or make the Lord accept him as his servant, and so on and so on. Okay, last thing. There is no breakfast, but we have a special service from Hamsa Rupa Prabhu, so yes.
Just on the topic of, Lord Chaitanya's mercy is only extended to people who don't have material desires. So I'm interested, especially in the case of some people that Lord Chaitanya gave mercy to, like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, or we could say Devananda Pandit is kind of an example. So there are some examples of people who are, they're very purified, they're very elevated. But, with Devananda Pandit, we notice that, though he's very purified in some ways, actually Lord Chaitanya doesn't consider him purified at all, because he's got a different kind of material desire, and that is jnana. He's attached to jnana and personal speculation, and he is actually reading the Bhāgavatam and he's interpreting it in that light. So Lord Chaitanya doesn't accept him, but yet he's still giving that same mercy to many Mayavads. He goes to the assembly of Mayavads, he goes to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So then, if that's the case, then it does seem like Lord Chaitanya and Mahaprabhu is giving mercy to people who have material desires, just in the form of jnana. So, could you explain that a little further?
Well, one reason why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will give his mercy to someone who is not a devotee is the strong desire of this devotee. Like, for example, in the case of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was a pure personality in a sense that his lifestyle was very pure, but Lord Chaitanya didn't want to have anything to do with him. But because Gopinath Acharya desired Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya to get the mercy, Lord Chaitanya decided, okay, I'll give him mercy. And then he became a great devotee. Once he became a devotee, now it's a different thing. Now we have a different relationship. Digvijay, you mean who came to discuss with small Nimai Pandit? He got the mercy, yes, but he got the mercy a little bit indirectly from his goddess. She revealed to him, this is the Supreme Lord. That's why you cannot beat him. And then he went and he surrendered to Lord Chaitanya. Like also in the case of Amoga, was his name, I think. He was the husband of the daughter of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He was offender actually. He offended Lord Chaitanya, but Lord Chaitanya did not took it seriously. And later he's explaining why. Because you are connected with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, that's why you're so dear to me. So I cannot take it seriously. I take it just like a child who is offending his parents. And then he said, everybody who is in the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is so dear to me. His servants are so dear to me. Even the dogs in his house are so dear to me. So that's why, please don't do this anymore. Keep your heart pure. Don't allow envy to enter your heart. The heart of a Brahmana is naturally pure. Don't allow envy to enter your heart. But he accepted Amoga, and Amoga became also a great Vaishnava, a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya. In the case of what was this great sannyasi? Prakashananda Saraswati. Again, the devotees of Lord Chaitanya really wanted that he goes and speaks with him. That's why Lord Chaitanya went to give them mercy. Otherwise, he didn't want it. Like, as a general, a Vaishnava doesn't want to associate with non-Vaishnavas. He wants to associate with other Vaishnavas. Unless the Vaishnavas push him to do something, then he's ready to do. He's ready to take. Like when Lord Chaitanya was living for South India, and he didn't want anybody with him, but then because of the strong desire of Nityananda Prabhu, he said, okay, I'll take one person with me. And they gave him this Brahman, who was a pure soul also, but then he got in some strange relationship with these Bhattaharis, special tribes in South India, and they just took him, and he went there to live with them, with their wives also. And then Lord Chaitanya became so angry, and he went and by force went there and saved him, just took him for the hair, and and then he did not say anything else. But the moment when they came back to Jagannath Puri, he said, okay, that's it, take him, I don't want to see him anymore. So his standards of what actually means living as a devotee were very, very high. Nityananda Prabhu, he was very merciful. Nityananda Prabhu and other devotees immediately gave service to this devotee. They said, okay, no problem, Lord Chaitanya doesn't want to see you, no problem. We have special service for you. Go to Navadvip and do this and this bring something to Mother Sachi, and so on and so on. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Advaita Acharya Mahamahotsav ki. The appearance day of Lord Advaita Acharya ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Gaura Premanandi. Hare Krishna. I have a special announcement, but maybe we can stop the recording.